Today is Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, and today we are going to replant our baby seedlings as I promised. Finally, I made the time to do it. This is a bit of a lengthy process because of how many I have ready here, but I'll try to be as short as possible so that this video is not way too long. The first thing that I'm going to do is add a little bit of antifungal solution to this bowl. And why am I doing this? Because remember that the reason why we're replanting these babies this early is because there has been a fungus attack to some of my babies. So I don't want to take chances, and that's why they're being transplanted this early. So what I'm gonna do is let them bathe in the antifungal solution for a bit. I am going to take them out. As I mentioned yesterday, I did not water them. They have not had any water, so the soil is not dry per se, but it's not as moist as it would be if I water it this morning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start as gentle as I can to start removing them one by one and putting them in the antifungal solution. They'll be in that water for about a half an hour maybe or so. In the meantime, I will be preparing the soil and everything else that I'm going to use, because I am not going to reuse this soil for them. They will be in a completely new substrate because I do not want them, I don't want to carry the fungus with them. So this soil will not be used. I will be using a new new everything. Okay, so I am just putting this little utensil on the ground away from where the plant is and bringing it up. And as you can see, this soil is very loose. So when I do this, everyone comes up in the area. So once the roots have been released, because I don't want to damage any roots, then they're ready to come off. I don't want to damage or break any roots because at this point they're fragile. So we have to be a little extra careful. This baby is completely loose. So come out, come out. And that's what I will be doing with all of them. This is what I'm gonna do so that I don't make the video extra long. These two babies are the twin babies right here. And I want to make sure I don't put them in the same pot with these guys because I want to keep them together. These are the only two that will grow in the same pot. So I don't want to throw everybody in there and then forget which one is which. So for now, I'm gonna use those, and so that you guys know what we can do with them, I'll show you the rest of the process, and then I'll do the rest by myself. One of the things that I use for potting is cocoa peat moss. This is peat moss. If you don't have peat moss, cocoa peat is an excellent choice. The only thing is not everybody has access to cocoa peat. Okay, I do, because I have some coconut trees in my backyard. But if you would rather have the cocoa peat instead of the peat moss, you can buy it in Amazon. Amazon sells um, the coconut the cocoa peat in um, chips and in powder, or the powder. But at this stage, I would rather go for the chips. Okay, so I would use the cocoa peat. And let me show you. This is where I'm putting everything that I'm gonna be using. I'll be putting cocoa peat. I'm gonna add some of the peat moss also, because I have so many plants. I want to make sure that I have enough substrate to do all of them. I'm also gonna use river sand. Please, 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 please. I cannot stress that enough. The sand is not the sand from the beach. The sand from the beach has salt, and that could kill your plants. You want river sand. Where do I find river sand? At construction sites, in places where people sell the sand for people who do construction. I get bags of sand from there, because I looked in uh, Home Depot and Lowe's, and the sand that they use is the play sand. That sand is too thin, and it will retain way too much water. And the reason for the sand is so that it will help you with drainage. So you want the coarse sand, the sand that is not as fine as the one that they use in the sandbox. We don't want the one for the sandbox, even though that one is clean enough. We don't want it because it would retain too much moisture. The point of using the sand is so that it will help you with drainage. If you don't have sand, let's say you are in a place where you cannot find sand, you can also use perlite. Perlite is perfect. If it's same as with the peat moss and the cocoa peat. If you can't find peat moss, you can use cocoa peat. If you can't find cocoa peat, you can use peat moss. One or the other, whichever one, it's fine. If you don't find the sand, you can use the cocoa peat. I mean the perlite. Okay, and that will help you with drainage. It's not for it doesn't add any nutrients to the soil. Neither one of these items have any nutrients in them, but will keep your soil from retaining too much moisture. You want it to retain some moisture, and that's why you use the cocoa peat or the peat moss, or a combination of both. You can if you have them, but if you don't have them, you can use either or. But the sand and the perlite are so that it will help you with drainage, so that there's some aeration to your soil. Okay, so I'm gonna put this little bit of perlite, and I'll use the same amount of sand. I would have used twice of whichever, but since I have both, I can use a cup of each. Okay. Also, the other thing that I like to use is charcoal. And for charcoal, we'll use 1 cup. The charcoal that I have has some ashes, because it's from we burned up some wood in my backyard. But let's say you cannot get the sand from your backyard because you don't have a backyard and you have all you have is to depend on on the market. Okay, at the market you will find the charcoal, and I buy the bags of charcoal, and I crush it with a hammer. I have a hammer and I crush it. I crush it to a small piece until until it's, oops. Even the ones from my backyard, I have to crush them so that they're small enough so they will not keep my plants from growing. So I want them to be this big. If the plant was bigger, I would use bigger size charcoal. But at this point, they're so little, I don't want to have extremely large pieces of charcoal in there. Okay, because if the roots hit a very large piece of charcoal, they will not be able to keep growing down that way. So the pieces of charcoal need to be small, about 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter each. See, little pieces. That's what I'm gonna be using. Okay, so mine is a little bit mixed with ashes, which is also good because it adds potassium. But if you don't have ashes, that's fine. Just use the regular charcoal. Okay, because when I don't have that, in days that is raining or days that I don't have time to do the to burn the wood, that's what I use. I use the charcoal from the store. Okay, the charcoal that I buy is not the one that is mixed with gasoline and all of that stuff. The one that you use for um for for a barbecue that will light up quickly. No, you want the cheap one, the one that has nothing, the one that is so difficult to light up because it has nothing added. That's the one that you want for your plants. Okay, that's the one that is good for your plants to use. All right, so, and besides that, what I will be using is pit moss. I mean, pit moss. Uh, Osmocote. Osmocote. The Osmocote that I use is 14, 14, 14. 14 nitrogen, 14 phosphorus, and 14 potassium. Okay, so it's triple 14. It's a balanced nutrient for the plants. And but I will add that to each cup because I want to make sure that each container where I'm putting the new plants, they will be having their own little bit of Osmocote. In the meantime, remember that the babies are still bathing. Okay, and they're releasing some of that fungus, or if any fungus try to attach itself to them. Okay, and then I mix everything well. This I mix it to make sure that I don't have too much of one thing in one area and not enough in the other. So make sure that everything is very, very well mixed. Okay, and after that, I grab, I'm gonna use these two babies here. Okay. Let me see if you can see the trays. Okay, making space, making space. Okay, there. So, I grab a little bit of the mixture and I put it in the trays. See this? Way too big. Can't be there. Always, as you're planting, keep your eyes open just in case you missed anything. Okay, I put, this thing is about 2 inches long. I put about an inch of soil, and then I'll get my fertilizer and I'll put a few pellets of the fertilizer in each bowl. See, the reason why I don't put it in the big tray and this one over here is because I wouldn't know if one has and the other doesn't. One has a lot and the other one has very little. I want to make sure that I know just about how much each one has. And what I put there is just a few pellets. It's not too much because they're still babies, okay? So now I put a little bit more substrate to cover them up, because I don't want the dirt to be in direct contact with my babies. Because even though everybody claims that the Osmocut does not burn the roots, I don't want to take chances. They're babies and they're not very strong. So the less chances I take, the better for all of us. Let me see. Too much. Okay. Now I am going to water this substrate with some of the water with fungicide. Why with fungicide? Because we're still trying to make sure that our babies succeed. And fungicide water will kill anything, if anything is trying to grow in that soil, even though it's supposed to be sterile, but you never know. And if these babies are not clean enough, they'll be, because the substrate that they will be sitting on is going to be full of fungicide water. For the next couple of days, every time I water them, I will water them with fungicide water. Okay? So they will be okay, mis amores. Okay, now I'll grab them one by one. Okay, this is a bit dip, so I will put a little bit more substrate. Some of the chips are a little bigger than I expected, so it's okay. As long as they're in the bottom and not on the top, preventing my babies from growing, everything will be fine. Some people don't like cocoa chip because they claim that the roots may get entangled with them, and that's a possibility. I'm not gonna say it is not, but I haven't had any issues with cocoa peat with the chips, so I don't mind if they grow between the cocoa chip, because by the time I'm ready to replant them, I'm not taking them off of the substrate. I'm taking the whole plug out, so they're going to be attached to it, but they will not they don't have to release from the cocoa chip, not at this point. They'll be releasing from the cocoa chip as they grow, whenever they're ready, because the next time I replant them, they'll be replanted to a bigger pot with everything that is attached to them. So I will not try to detach them from whatever they holding on to. I have no concerns about the cocoa chip. Okay, so here we go. Here's one. There's one. And the cocoa chip will help them keep the moisture. It's very, very good for holding on to moisture. After I finish planting them, I will put a thin layer of sand, of the coarse sand. Why do I do that? Because yes, the cocoa peat and the peat moss retain moisture, but the moisture they will be retaining will attract fruit flies and white flies and all kinds of other bugs that will want to go in the dirt. But if I have sand on the over them on the very top, even if it's a thin layer, that will discourage them from gumming because they can't get through the sand. Okay? That's why I didn't fill the container to the rim, because I wanted to have enough space to put the, hold on, middle, to put the sand later on. Okay. Okay, baby. Any money there? Oh, yes, there's still a few more. Okay. Some people are allergic to the fungicide, and that's one of the reasons why I'm wearing gloves. I don't know if I'm allergic, but I have a very sensitive skin, so I don't want to find out. I'm okay not finding out. Alrighty. So, okay, I don't think I have any more babies in there, so let me just put a little bit of the sand so you can see how I do it. See, it's just a little bit around them. It will also provide support to the plant, to the adenium, at the same time as it prevents bugs from coming to attack my babies. Okay, that's that. When you put the sand, make sure that you stand up your adenium, because you don't want them to grow laying down. You want them to grow standing. That will give them more chances to survive and be healthy. When they're laying down, they sometimes their leaves get rotten from over moisture. So make sure they're standing. Okay, I'll do one more, and then I'll water once again to make sure that sand will settle and take its place where it belongs. Okay. Okay, this is what I'll be doing with all of them. And now I'll add a little bit more water. Wet the leaves, wet everything. Make sure that the water goes down. Oh, there we go. See how fast the water is draining? Make sure nothing is sitting like that. There's a piece of sand sitting there. It doesn't want to come off. And I don't want to. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, Mr. Sand. You don't belong there. Come on. There you go. Okay. There we go. Okay, now I can finish watering. And I'll do the other side. See that all the water is draining? That's exactly what you want. You don't want water sitting in your pot for too long. Right now, this plate does not have any holes because I'm indoors, and I just wanted to show you guys. But I will not be sitting them in a place that is holding all this water on the bottom. Why? Because that creates fungus and brings more bugs. So and could rot my roots. So it would defeat the purpose of all the draining soil if I'm keeping all this water on the bottom. Okay, so just make sure the water runs freely, and then keep them in a place where they can let the water completely out when you finish. Okay, and that should be all for today, guys. I have a whole lot more work to do, but I guess I'll show you tomorrow morning. Bye, good night. God bless you. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful night. Bye-bye.